What if I told you that her body gave you the answer, long before her words ever did? That the real truth of desire slips out in seconds, but almost every man walks right past it. Think about it. You've been there, sitting across from a woman, heart racing, searching for signs. She leans in. She smiles. She brushes your arm. And your brain fires off 1,000 questions at once. Is she into me, or am I making this up? This is the trap. Most men either miss the signals completely, or they gamble on them blindly. Some wait too long, and the moment dies. Others move too fast, and the vibe crashes. Both end up frustrated, replaying the night, wishing they knew what it all really meant. Here's the secret. Attraction has a language of its own. A language written in eyes, in breath, in posture and touch. It's subtle, but it's consistent. And once you can read it, you'll never be left guessing again. In this video, I'm going to show you that language. Not the clichés you've already heard, not the myths passed around in forums. The real science-backed cues that reveal genuine attraction and the respectful ways to act when you see them. Stay with me, because once you see these patterns, you'll stop guessing and start knowing. Because the truth is this: her body already spoke. The only question is, did you hear it? Before we dive into the specific signals, we need to set the frame. Attraction isn't a magic trick where one glance or one touch guarantees interest. It's a pattern, and patterns only make sense when you understand context. Too many men fall into the trap of chasing single signals. They see a smile or hear a laugh and immediately assume it's attraction. Other men do the opposite. They notice hints, but convince themselves it's all in their imagination. Both extremes lead to missed opportunities and frustrating nights replayed in your head. The truth is that attraction lives in the body, but it's filtered through environment and personality. Pupils can widen because of dim light, not desire. Someone may lean in simply to hear you better in a crowded bar. Even touch can be misleading if the person is naturally warm and affectionate with everyone. This is why we don't just look for signals in isolation. We look for clusters. We look for timing. We look for consistency. That's how you separate coincidence from genuine chemistry. And here's something even more important. Recognizing attraction is not the same as acting on it. Real confidence is not about guessing correctly. It's about asking clearly. If you notice repeated signals, the best move isn't to assume. It's to test gently. A simple, "Can I sit closer?" or "Want to grab that quieter table?" tells you everything you need to know. If she says yes and continues showing the same cues, you're aligned. If she hesitates or redirects, you've just saved both of you from an awkward escalation. Either way, you win, because clarity always beats guessing. This mindset flips the script. You stop being the guy who misreads politeness as interest, or the guy who misses clear signals out of fear. You become the guy who notices, confirms, and moves forward with respect. Women can feel that difference immediately. They sense the man who sees them, but doesn't pressure them. They sense the man who creates space for choice instead of trying to take it. And that sense of safety doesn't make you less attractive. It makes you magnetic. So as we move into the rest of this video, keep this principle in mind. Notice more, assume less, and verify with kindness. That's the foundation. Once you build on it, the rest of the signals reveal themselves with clarity instead of confusion. Attraction is not magic, but it is biological. When someone feels a spark, The body responds before the brain catches up. Heart rate rises, breathing slows and deepens, pupils expand, skin warms, posture opens. These are real, measurable shifts. They are the body preparing for closeness. And yet, here's the mistake most people make. They treat these changes as proof instead of probability. They forget that biology is influenced by more than desire. Stress, caffeine, lighting, even the temperature of the room can create the same signs. That's why you must learn to treat signals like pieces of evidence in a case. One clue doesn't make a verdict, but 3 or 4 that appear together, in rhythm, in the right context. That's when you can trust what you're seeing. Think of it like layers. A woman's pupils may look larger, but maybe the restaurant is dim. Her cheeks may flush, but maybe the heater is on. If, however, she's also leaning toward you, laughing more freely, holding eye contact longer than necessary, and finding reasons to touch your arm, now you're seeing a pattern. Attraction shows itself not in a single flash, but in clusters that strengthen over time. This is where timing matters. Genuine signals don't just appear randomly. They build, they intensify, they survive context shifts. If you change topics and the cues remain, if you move to a new space and the energy continues, you're no longer guessing. You're observing a consistent thread running through the interaction. That consistency is gold. But even then, don't forget the human element. Attraction is not a silent code you crack alone. The most powerful move is still to confirm. Imagine you notice the cluster, the gaze, the posture, the touch. Instead of assuming, you test with an invitation. I love this energy. Want to grab a seat over there? Her response gives you the clarity no body cue can. Yes, and she leans in. You're aligned. Hesitation or a polite decline. You've just avoided misreading the moment. Either way, you acted with confidence and respect. So the science is real, but it's not the whole story. Biology whispers possibilities. Context sorts truth from noise, and your words seal the deal. That combination is what separates men who always wonder from men who always know. The eyes are often the loudest part of an unspoken conversation. Attraction has a way of leaking through gaze before any words confirm it. You've probably felt it. A look that lingers a heartbeat longer than normal. A gaze that drifts to your mouth mid-sentence, then returns to your eyes. Eyelids softening, giving her that almost dreamy expression. These aren't accidents. They're micro moments that reveal focus. Yet many men either miss them completely or read them like a neon sign. Both mistakes cost them the chance to connect authentically. The smarter move is to watch the rhythm. Social eye contact is quick, neat, and transactional. Romantic eye contact feels different. It's heavier, like a note held just a fraction too long. It repeats. It creates a subtle charge in the air. And when paired with other cues, her body turning toward you, her posture relaxing, her voice softening, the meaning sharpens. That's when you stop wondering if you're imagining things. You start seeing a consistent pattern. But here's where most guys fail. They treat a single mouth glance as a green light for a kiss. Or they stare back too intensely, trying to force chemistry. Attraction doesn't need force. It needs awareness and timing. If you sense the gaze looping back to you, if you notice her checking your lips more than once, don't pounce. Instead, make a small invitation. You might say, I like this vibe. Want me to sit closer? Or after a shared laugh, lean slightly and ask, "Can I tell you something a little flirty?" The way she responds tells you far more than staring ever will. Imagine a cafe scene. She's laughing at your story, eyes locked, pupils wide in natural light. Twice, she glances at your mouth. Instead of guessing, you pause and say, "I feel like we're really clicking. Mind if I come a little closer?" If she smiles and gestures you in, you have your answer. If she shifts back or hesitates, you've lost nothing. You respected the moment and gave her the choice. The eyes may spark desire, but your words confirm it. That's how you transform silent tension into real connection. The body rarely hides where the mind wants to go. You'll notice it in how she positions herself, even when the room is crowded. If she's interested, her torso, her hips, even her feet begin to align in your direction. She may straighten her back, roll her shoulders back, and close the gap between you, little by little. These adjustments are rarely conscious. They are the body's way of saying, "I want to be here." Distance tells a story, too. Social distance keeps things polite. Romantic distance creates opportunities. A woman who wants to connect finds ways to be inside your personal space. She might choose the seat next to you instead of across. She may angle in, allowing your knees or arms to touch lightly. She might even place her drink, her purse, or her phone within your reach as a quiet marker of territory. By contrast, if she angles away, keeps her bag as a shield, or positions herself near an exit, she's creating boundaries. The key is to read the pattern, not force it. Imagine you're at a house party, and the kitchen is packed. Every time conversation shifts, she rotates back toward you, body square to yours. Later, when you suggest moving to the balcony for some air, she doesn't hesitate. She leads the way. Out there, she positions herself so you're shoulder to shoulder, setting her glass right next to yours. That is not random positioning. That's intent expressed in posture. The respectful move is to give her a clear option. You might say, "It's a little noisy here. Want to grab that corner?" Or, "Mind if we switch seats so we can face each other?" If she agrees, the signal is confirmed. If she hesitates or suggests staying put, you've just saved yourself from pushing too far. Either outcome is clarity. The pro tip is to build every invitation with an exit. "We can stay here too, no pressure," shows you're not forcing a move. When a woman feels free to say no, her yes carries more weight. And the men who understand this, who notice orientation and distance, but still ask. Touch is where attraction becomes impossible to fake. Words can hide. Eyes can look away. Posture can be adjusted. But when someone begins to seek contact with you, even in small ways, it speaks louder than anything she could say. It often starts with those so-called accidental touches, a brush as she walks past, fingers that linger a moment too long when handing you something, or a playful tap that carries no real purpose. These moments may be short, but if they repeat, they're not random. They are her way of testing closeness. As comfort grows, touches evolve. They last longer. They move to more personal areas, like the upper arm, the shoulder, or the chest near the collarbone. At the same time, she may begin touching herself more around you, twirling her hair, stroking her neck, smoothing her hands along her arm. Self-touch is not only self-soothing, it can also be a subconscious way of drawing your eyes to her body. The difference is in frequency and context. Once or twice means little. But when self-touch aligns with her leaning in, her laughing more, and her gaze staying with you, the picture becomes clear. This is where many men trip. They mistake one friendly pat for permission to escalate. Or worse, they ignore the retreat when she pulls away. Attraction is not about chasing a single yes. It's about tuning in to the rhythm. When she leans into your touch, when she keeps contact longer than necessary, when she recreates opportunities for touch again, that is your green light. If she pulls back, freezes, or redirects, the signal is just as clear. Believe it and respect it. The best move is to keep touch consensual, playful, and easy to reverse. You can invite with something light. High five for that story? Or make it casual curiosity. That ring is cool, mind if I see it? Then pause and wait. If she accepts, she's choosing the contact. If not, you back off gracefully. Either way, you showed respect and confidence. Picture this. At a bar, she laughs and taps your arm. Later, she places her hand on your shoulder while making a point. You smile and say, "You're very touchy. It feels nice. Okay if I match that energy?" If she nods or smiles, you've been handed the invitation. That's when you mirror her level and let her lead the pace. Great touch is never about taking. It's about offering. And the men who understand that don't just get closer, they stay memorable. Sometimes attraction doesn't show in movement first. It shows in sound. When desire builds, the voice shifts almost against her will. Pitch can drop just a little. Words stretch out with longer pauses, and the rhythm slows. She may laugh more freely, her tone softening, almost drawing you in. Even volume becomes a clue. A woman who wants you closer often lowers her voice, forcing you to lean in, creating intimacy without ever saying the word. These changes are subtle, but they are powerful. They make the air between you feel private even in a crowded room. Hair and neck behavior carry a similar weight. Watch for repeated gestures, not single ones. She runs her fingers through her hair again and again. She tucks it behind her ear while tilting her head, exposing the line of her neck. She tosses it lightly to draw your eyes back to her face. None of these actions alone prove anything. But when they repeat in rhythm, with her voice softening and her posture opening, the cluster becomes undeniable. The neck especially is a vulnerable zone. When someone bears it to you, consciously or not, it signals trust. Breath tells its own story. In moments of attraction, her breathing deepens and slows. You might notice subtle sighs between sentences, or a faint flush across her cheeks and collarbone. Of course, a warm room or a long day can mimic these effects. That's why you must always read them in context. If the breath shifts while she's leaning in, while her voice softens, while her eyes hold yours, you're not imagining things. You're witnessing a body aligning with desire. So how do you use this knowledge without overstepping? You mirror calm instead of forcing heat. Match her slower pace, lower your own tone. Let silence carry part of the attraction. Then invite gently. "I love this flow. Want to move somewhere quieter?" If she keeps the same soft rhythm and agrees, the moment is yours. If she sharpens her tone or pulls back, respect it and reset. Attraction in the voice, in the hair, in the breath. It's subtle, it's layered, and it thrives on respect. Recognize it, honor it, and you'll find that connection deepens naturally. The signals aren't there for you to seize. They're there for you to respond to. When two people click, their bodies often begin to mirror each other without effort. It's a kind of unconscious harmony, what psychologists call synchrony. She crosses her legs a moment after you do. You lean on the bar, and a few minutes later, so does she. Your pace of speech slows, and hers matches. Even breathing begins to fall into rhythm. None of this is staged. It's the nervous system aligning, as if both of you are moving to the same hidden beat. When synchrony shows up early and strengthens over time, it's one of the clearest signs that interest is mutual. In more crowded settings, another layer appears: competition. A woman who's genuinely interested may subtly position herself between you and other women, closing the space so rivals have less access. She might turn her body to block interruptions, or dial up her playfulness when someone else approaches. Sometimes she stakes a small claim through future plans. "We should go check that spot next week," or "You'd love this coffee shop I know." These are not casual suggestions. They are her way of signaling that she sees you as her priority in the room. Self-presentation also evolves under attraction. Small grooming behaviors become more frequent. She may adjust her outfit, smooth her skirt, pull at her neckline, or reapply lip color. Accessories turn into tools of display: a necklace toyed with to draw your gaze to her collarbone, earrings removed and replaced to highlight her neck, bracelets spun around her wrist. Each action is subtle on its own, but when they cluster alongside synchrony and territorial cues, they paint a clear picture. Consider a rooftop party. You're laughing, and she's finishing your sentences. You lean on the railing, and moments later she mirrors the same stance. When two women walk over, she casually steps to your side, shoulders aligned, and says, "Still want to grab tacos later?" That's synchrony plus territory plus future pacing, an unmistakable trio. Contrast that with a different scene. She adjusts her outfit and flips her hair often, but she keeps her distance, talks equally to everyone, and avoids private space with you. That's grooming without alignment, a weaker signal, and not one to chase. The best way to respond to these cues is with collaboration, not conquest. Invite her into small shared movements. "I'm grabbing a drink, come with?" If she matches your pace, the connection is real. Compliment presentation shifts lightly. "That color looks great on you," but don't overanalyze them aloud. And never provoke jealousy to test her. Respect builds trust, and trust is what keeps attraction alive. Synchrony, competition, self-presentation, all powerful, but only when they harmonize. One by itself is noise. Together, they are music. When attraction builds, people look for little pockets of privacy, even in public. It might be choosing a quieter corner, stepping onto a balcony, or placing her phone and bag close to you, like a subtle claim of space. These moves don't shout, but once you know how to listen, they speak volumes. Alongside that come playful oral cues, sipping slower, a light lip bite, lingering with a straw, or offering a taste of her drink. Alone, these might just be habits. But when paired with closer distance, open posture, or a softer voice, they often reveal more. Vulnerability is another signal. The tilt of her head exposing her neck, her body relaxing, palms open on the table, or deferring gently to your lead. That isn't submission, it's comfort. And comfort is where attraction grows. The golden rule: never rely on a single sign. Look for patterns: eyes, body, voice, touch, all pointing the same way. Look for momentum, signals that grow stronger over time. That's your real green light. And even then, the best move is clarity. "I'm having a great time. Want to take a walk?" Or, I'd love to kiss you. Is that okay? Clean, respectful, impossible to misread. If it's yes, move with confidence. If it's no, smile and carry on. Either way, you win, because you chose clarity over guessing. Attraction isn't mind reading, it's awareness, respect, and courage. The body may whisper, but the words confirm. Learn to hear both, and you'll never miss the moment again. Thank you for watching. If this message hit you, don't just scroll away. Subscribe, dive deeper into our content, and start building the mindset that puts you back in control. Because dating isn't about chasing women. It's about holding the frame, living with clarity, and letting attraction come to you. Drop a comment below. What's the biggest struggle you want us to break down next? Let's build a brotherhood of men who rise above confusion and reclaim their power. See you in the next video.